Hi everybody, TeknoBoy here. The big yearly Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3, has once again come and gone with its big announcements and shiny new and exciting video games that will stop many of us from actually doing something productive with our lives. Naturally, there's going to be so many people posting their reactions, giving their opinions on what they liked and disliked, and I thought I'd do the same. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I wanted to take time and structure my opinions rather than just throw out my immediate reactions. I don't want to go on too long with my thoughts, so this will be more of a highlights video talking about the specific things that grabbed my attention. Bear in mind that this is all just my opinion. There are some things that are going to interest me more than others, and some things that I just don't really care about. If I miss talking about certain games, or say that a particular game doesn't appeal to me, it doesn't mean I think badly about the game or anyone who is excited for it. I just want to focus on what I took away from this year's experience. EA started things off, and I don't really have much to say on this. I'm not really into sports games, I don't care too much about Battlefield, and overall, the presentation just seemed really awful to me. The host tried her best, but wasn't that engaging, interviews were clumsy and awkward, and it felt like a lot of things being said were disingenuous. It did have a couple of highlights, like the announcement of Unravel 2, which just reminds me that I haven't played the first one yet, and that I really should, and Sea of Solitude, which I don't know too much about, but it did stand out amongst everything else that was on the show. Bright colours will do that. There was also Anthem, which looks good, but I don't think I learned anything new from what I saw. Microsoft was next, and they fared much better than EA. Announcing Halo Infinite and a sequel to Ori was a good start. Side note, I haven't played the first Ori yet, please don't kill me. And Sekiro Shadows Die Twice also looks pretty interesting, plus I'm a sucker for anything involving grappling hooks. I am glad to know that The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit is set in the same universe as Life is Strange, as I really enjoyed playing that game, and it's one of the few episodic novel games I've actually played. I will definitely be getting Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I didn't play much of the original games, but I really like this reboot series. I am wondering if they're going to do a third Lara Croft game, as those have been a lot of fun to play with friends. Tunic has a really nice design to it, and is certainly the most Zelda looking of Zelda inspired games, to the point where the main character literally looks like Link as a fox. I guess making him a rabbit or a wolf would have been too on the nose. We get our first look this year of Kingdom Hearts 3, which showed off levels and features inspired by Frozen, Entangled, Ratatouille, and Wreck-It Ralph, along with the news that it's actually coming to Xbox One. I've played both the original Dying Light and The Division with friends, but while The Division 2 right now feels like more of the same, Dying Light 2 at least gives me the impression that it's expanded upon the original and that your actions will affect the story as well as the environment. We got a triple threat of new Gears of War games. Mobile game Gears of Pop, which is something I didn't expect, Gears Tactics, which does look pretty cool, and Gears 5, which only reminds me that I need to play Gears 4. I think I better make a list of these. And might as well add Tales of Vesperia on there as well. We also get brief looks at Just Cause 4, Crackdown 3, Devil May Cry 5, and Cyberpunk 2077. And a weird bit where Microsoft announced they bought a bunch of indie developers. Undead Labs, Playground Games, Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory. Is Microsoft trying to be the gaming equivalent of Disney? Well, if Jump Force is exclusive to them, they have their Avengers equivalent. Overall presentation was good, even though it felt like they were patting themselves on the back a bit too much. Then came Bethesda, who were much more laid back with their approach. Perhaps a little too laid back. After joking about the Walmart leak, they then formally announced Rage 2, with a short rock concert by Andrew WK. Alright. Though if I'm being honest, the guy from Avalanche Studios looks way more like a rock star. Even his name is more rock and roll. The game itself looked good, even though I'm not familiar with the Rage series, and feels kind of like Mad Max mixed with Bulletstorm with just a hint of Doom thrown in. Speaking of which, they announced a follow-up to the 2016 version of Doom, entitled Doom Eternal. No gameplay was shown, just a short trailer to say that if you like the new Doom, then there's more Doom on your way for you fans of Doom. oh, and that makes my throat hurt. That's better. Some Prey DLC was shown next. Ooh, should add that to the list. Which features a new roguelike campaign, an easier story mode, survival, and New Game Plus, as well as a new multiplayer mode where players control mimics that can take the shape of random objects. Sounds like fun. There was also a return of Quake with Quake Champions, a new Wolfenstein game, Youngblood, and a whole bunch of VR stuff. Then Todd Howard came out and the rest of the show was all about Fallout and Elder Scrolls. After joking about porting Skyrim to Alexa, which I think some people might actually take seriously, he went into more detail about Fallout 76, which Microsoft had previously announced in their conference. He talked about, among other things, how the game will be online, that players can build settlements, random nukes will be placed all over the map, and that the game will be out in November with a beta test released beforehand to iron out any bugs. But if you thought it was done there, you'd be wrong. He did announce that Fallout Shelter was coming to PS4 and Nintendo Switch that very night, a new mobile game, Elder Scrolls Blades, which will be cross-platform compatible, and a brand new IP in the form of Starfield, which what many say could be a sci-fi version of Fallout and Elder Scrolls. And just when you thought he couldn't have anything else left up his sleeve, wham! Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer. Yeah, no gameplay or anything, just it's coming. Square Enix took the Nintendo approach and had their presentation pre-recorded, meaning that they could just focus on the games. They showed off more Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which included gameplay of Lara sneaking around and killing a bunch of guys. I guess she's now the new Solid Snake, silent and deadly. Speaking of which, we got a rather interesting trailer for The Quiet Man, where we see a deaf guy who looks a bit like Leon Kennedy beat up a bunch of guys in an alleyway. It showed live action footage that would transition into the game engine, not that well to be honest, but it is an interesting style to go for, live action cutscenes that go into gameplay. It certainly piqued my interest. The rest of the presentations didn't have too much to offer in my opinion. There was some extra stuff coming for Final Fantasy XIV, more of Captain Spirit, Dragon Quest XI, Just Cause 4 where they talked about the inclusion of extreme weather, and pretty much the same trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 that Microsoft had. Again, this one was a rather short presentation, which I think worked in its favour as it didn't feel too long-winded. Watching the presentations for Developer Digital and Limited Run Games may have been a mistake, partly because they didn't have much to offer compared to the other companies, and mainly because they are so freaking weird. Of the 3 games Developer Digital showed off, Scum looks like another generic survival game, My Friend Pedro looked quite fun, like if Shadow Complex starred Deadpool, and there was so little information about Metal Wolf Chaos that I had to use Google to find out that it was a remastered port of a 14-year-old game that was never released outside of Japan. It does look fun though, like an old arcade-style shooter. The majority of the presentation was taken up by what felt like a really bad extended college humor skit. If it was just that, a comedy skit, then I could say, fair enough, it's not for me, and leave it for somebody else who enjoys that sort of humor. But because it was part of a presentation that is meant to advertise new games, I felt like it took time away from what we actually came to see. I just didn't enjoy this presentation at all. It was vulgar, it was obnoxious, and I wasn't having any fun watching it. I did have fun watching Limited Run's presentation because of how ridiculously stupid it looked. Terrible CGI, poorly cut out 2D audience, awful green screen, appalling special effects, and weird bit-tuned versions of songs like All Star, Take On Me, and the themes from Rocky and X-Files. It was just really bad, but at the same time, that's what made it so charming. I'm sure they knew how ridiculous everything looked and just decided to have fun with it. What's more is that it didn't take away from what they were supposed to be doing out there in the first place, which actually wasn't to announce any new games. Limited Run Games isn't a video game developer per se, but a distribution company owned by Mighty Rabbit Studios. They specialize in creating and releasing physical copies of download-only titles, for people who prefer having an actual copy of the game in their hands rather than as an icon on their desktop. That's actually a pretty neat idea. The presentation was just to announce the new games they were working on, including Golf Story, Iconoclasts, Valhalla, Cosmic Star Heroine, Spelunky, Sultan Sanctuary, Yooka-Laylee on Switch, and even Night Trap on Switch. Holy hell, who would ever have thought that would happen? In defense of these presentations, I don't think either one was trying to compete with the bigger companies. Of the two though, I like Limited Run Games better. They had some laughs, but they stayed focused on what they were doing. Developer Digital just didn't really work for me, and I won't be coming back for next year's show. Moving on, we had Ubisoft step up to the plate, as they began in equally bizarre fashion with a dance performance to advertise the new Just Dance game. By the way, massive respect to whoever had to dance inside that panda suit. That can't have been pleasant. This was followed up by more Beyond Good and Evil 2 and wait, is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt? It is, and he's here to announce that through his company, Hit Record, fans can submit their songs and art to be put in the game. I know this is a bit of a controversial topic and I don't want to steer too far away from what I'm talking about, but if it gets more people to be creative, I'd say that's a good thing, wouldn't you? I don't have much to say on Trials Rising. I'm sure the game will be fantastic, I can just never seem to stick with any of them. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because of Anti-Vasuo. He comes out riding a motorcycle, he's dressed like Super Dave, and he crashes right through the podium. This dude is quite the showman.
and also Prime Minister of Finland.
Following announcement showing at Microsoft, we get more of a look at The Division 2, and all I can say is I hope it's as good as the first game got, but to be safe, I'm probably going to wait a while before I get it. A new Donkey Kong expansion for Mario & Rabbids was announced, and along with a video trailer showcasing the add-on, we were treated to a live musical performance by none other than Grant Kirkhope, and it was wonderful. Skull and Bones looks mightily impressive, and to be honest, I'm kind of more interested in this than I am Sea of Thieves. Customizing your pirate ship, cutthroat naval battles based off Assassin's Creed 4, I'd say it's shaping up nicely. You could even say transference. I don't know what to make of this game. As I said before, mixing live action and in-game graphics seems like a cool idea, if you can get it right. Did they get it right? Ah, damn. So it looks like this game seems to be on a better path of marrying the two together. Also, we know who you are, Elijah. You were the star of one of the biggest movie franchises ever. People don't forget things like that. And is it me, or does it sound like he's describing the plot to Inception?
No.
Oh, okay. Then came Starlink Battle for Atlas, and I would make a joke about it being No Man's Sky meets Skylanders, but then they said Star Fox was going to be in the Switch version, and then Shigeru Miyamoto showed up in the audience, and then someone gave him a model of the R-Wing they used in the game, and well, now I feel bad for even thinking of it. Just look at Miyamoto-san. He looks so happy. He ended the conference by showing off Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and looks to be building on what Origins did, by adding more RPG elements, dialogue choices, and the option to pick either a male or female protagonist. Also, it looks like it might have been influenced by Shadow of Mordor a bit. Was the last game like this? I haven't played since Black Flag. And this list is really building up. Overall, it seems like Ubisoft have figured out a good formula on how to make solid presentations. That, and they apparently have money to spare for celebrity appearances. Oh, and For Honor now has Dynasty Warriors. That's the thing. Sony's press conference was a bit odd as it started off inside a, church? And then a guy came out and played a banjo for a bit, possibly signaling Last of Us Part 2? Oh, good, it is. We got a combination of potential story for the game and some gameplay as well. Alright, it's heavily scripted, but it feels like a good indicator of what to expect. This is one of the reasons why I'm finally getting a PS4 this year. I loved the first game and absolutely fell in love with Ellie. I can't wait to see how she's doing since the last one. Then there was a weird bit where everyone was shuffled out of the church and into another conference hall. Why don't you just have the whole show here to begin with? In the new hall we get some guy playing an oriental woodwind instrument, so I don't know what it is, which led into Ghost of Tsushima. Not too much to say on this one right now. It's set in feudal Japan, you play as a samurai, you swing your sword, there's some stealth elements, it looks incredibly good. Yeah, what else can you say? Okay, so here was my initial thoughts when I saw the next trailer. Wait, you play as a mouse? And you're dead. Another zombie game? Wait, Leon Kennedy? Oh my god, Resident Evil 2 remake. And it's in the same style as Resident Evil 4. Excellent! Now, do I play the original or wait for the remake to come out? More from Kingdom Hearts 3, and along with Pirates of the Caribbean coming back, they announced a special limited edition PS4 Pro and the Kingdom Hearts collection packs all in one bundle. Damn, I might have to wait a little bit longer to get a PS4. Then all of a sudden, what? Ah! Above Venus! What? Oh, Death Stranding. Oh, that Kojima. We still don't know much about this game, but from the impression I get, maybe Kojima wanted to create his own version of Ico or something. You've got Norman Reedus walking about lots of places, invisible creatures, some strange device carrying a fetus that acts as a sonar to detect ghosts? I mean, I have no idea what's going on, but I can't say I'm not a little bit curious to find out. Although if this is what Kojima's like without someone holding him back, God help us all. The other reason why I'm finally getting the PS4 is Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of Spider-Man games and this one just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. Like maybe the best Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 2. Sure, it feels heavily inspired by the Batman Arkham games, but how is that a bad thing? Aside from the shuffling between conference halls, Sony's press conference was just simply trailer after trailer after trailer. And honestly, that really works. Just shut up and show us what you got. Last but not least, we have Nintendo Direct. Be patient. I always enjoy watching these as instead of talking about numbers or patting themselves on the back or how they're connecting with gamers, okay, maybe not that last one, they simply get right down to what we want to see, the games, like Daemon X Machina, a new giant mech battling game that looks like it's been given the Suda51 treatment, advertised using death metal no less. More updates on Pokemon Let's Go, including the announcement of a Pokeball-shaped controller that comes with a Mew inside it. No wonder we couldn't find it under that truck. It's already been shipped into stores. Go figure. There's a brand new Mario Party game under the name Super Mario Party. And while I didn't hate the changes that were made in 9 and 10, it's nice that the game is returning back to the traditional playstyle of all the games. The best part of the trailer was easily the bit where they took 2 switches and created a whole new layout for the tank minigame they were playing. That is pretty cool, and definitely Nintendo. Fortnite on Switch? That was inevitable. And another demo of Octopath Traveler? I haven't played the first one yet, even though I've had it for ages. And the 4 games coming out soon? I gotta catch up. Find a reason to justify buying that £100 special edition. Then there was a quick lightning round on a bunch of other games on Switch, and then the rest of the video was dedicated to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And they are going big on this one. Every single character that has ever been in the series is in this game, including old favourites like Roy, Snake, Ice Climbers, Wolf, plus the idea of Echo Fighters to explain Dark Pit and Lucina's inclusion. We have an excuse to add Daisy as her own character outside of a costume swap for Peach. I am annoyed that Bomberman still isn't a playable character, but having him as an assist trophy is an okay compromise. There's also a hint that you have to unlock each character through gameplay, which I certainly agree with. We don't get a lot of that nowadays. Nowadays you just unlock stuff by buying it as DLC. Not back in my day, damn it! All the movesets have been tweaked, the battle system is refined, and online battles could actually be good this time. They also decided to make the game compatible with the GameCube controller. They really thought of everything. And just for kicks, they decided to include Ridley in the game as a fighter too. That will certainly please the 1 or 2 people who asked him to be included. The release date is announced for December 7th, and then the presentation just stops. Fair enough, not gonna get any bigger than that, so just end it there. And those are my thoughts on this year's E3. I did skip out the PC gamer presentation because I'm more interested in console gaming than I am for PC. No offense to any PC gamers, though I heard the show wasn't that bad. So with everything said and done, who do I think won E3 this year? Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't think it matters, because everyone is going to have a different idea of the winner based on their own personal wants and needs. The Fallout fan will say Bethesda won, while sports fans will back EA. Those excited for Smash Bros. Will champion Nintendo, and others will plant their flag in the camp of Sony. While it may sound like I'm being very non-committal in picking a winner, the truth is that there are a lot of things from every presentation that got me excited. Even from Developer Digital, even though I took a lot of shots at the things they did. At the end of the day, everyone who watched E3 went in hoping that someone would show them something that would pique their interest. And if they came up with the knowledge that there's at least one game announced that they're looking forward to, I'd say that's a win in my book. And judging by the reactions that I've seen, I'd say that this year was a definite win. But if I had to pick one, I'd go with Ubisoft because this guy's a legend, this guy is awesome, and any company that gives Shigeru Miyamoto's presents definitely deserves praise from me.